Every new year is a chance to look into the vast world of music that is quickly and constantly shifting in its nature and in its meta. What's up, y'all? Dev here, and today we are bringing you the 15 artists and albums we are most desperate to hear in 2024. Starting off with a big one here in A$AP Rocky's Don't Be Dumb. Now, this is an album that's been rumored for a minute now and is currently without a release date, but seems likely to drop in 2024 given it's been an album in development for a while. If you let Rocky tell it, leaks are what has kept this album from seeing the light of day. He's had a lot of songs leak in different batches, and to be honest, he's kind of always suffered from this sort of problem. Songs on Testing leaked early, At Long Last A$AP released early in 2015 due to it leaking in its entirety, and this time around, songs with A$AP Mob, Casey, Slow Tie, Joey Badass, French Montana, and more have leaked, causing them to be scrapped and fall into the wayside for this project as they've gone back to the drawing board a few times now. Probably for that exact reason, we haven't heard many details about this album, but he has confirmed a handful of names as producers for the album, including himself, Pharrell, Dean Blunt, Metro Boomin, Tyler the Creator, Madlib, The Alchemist, and more, seemingly keeping a name or two a secret for now. At number 14 is Tank by Idols. This is the British post-punk group that is gearing up for their 5th album. The lead single, Dancer, has this harsh guitar tone that sticks out as a main piece of it, but is also kind of groovy and loose. This is just a fun, loving band, and this particular song has some backing vocals from the good folks at LCD Sound System. Tank is set to be released on February 16th of this year, and will have co-production credits across the album from Nigel Godrich, who's best known for producing many of the Radiohead albums, as well as Kenny Beats, who was previously a co-producer on their most recent album, Crawler. At 13, we have Kali Uchis's Orquídeas, which is going to be an album written and performed predominantly in Spanish. And when this releases on January 12th, she'll be just short of a year having released Red Moon and Venus in 2023, which I thought was a very, very solid album with convincing moods and impeccable atmosphere. The tracklist there is consistent and exciting, and I hope that this album will mirror that, obviously using and leaning into some different genres, styles, and sounds. An exciting sample of what you may hear on this project is found in the lead single, Te Mata. This track, similarly to that of La Luna Enamorada from the Sin Miedo album, is a bolero, which is a richly emotional, passionate, and slow-burning form of Latin soul. So of course this will be a little bit different from the mainline R&B stuff that we've gotten accustomed to with her, but I wouldn't let that scare you off from it. Again, I really recommend the single. You'll be able to check this one out here in just a few days. At 12 is Mannequin Pussy's I Got Heaven. They're going to be dropping their 4th studio album on the 1st of March, which follows up both the Perfect EP from 2021 and then their most recent studio album, 2019's Patience. Now, in recent years, this Philadelphian genre-subverting rock group has steadily gained steam over the years, with fans loving their noisy, raw, and rebellious energy. Despite this, they have a penchant for writing some pretty catchy material, so if they continue to strike that balance between being one of the more unpredictable, yet insatiably catchy bands out right now, then this really could be one of the most exciting and fun projects of the year. At 11, Glass Beach, Plastic Death. Almost 5 years after their debut album, titled the first Glass Beach album, this LA-based 5th wave emo group has amassed somewhat of a cult following. And you know what? Good for them for not naming this the second Glass Beach album. Plastic Death will have some shoes to fill, because the first Glass Beach album was a distinguished work that landed them in the pantheon alongside Weather Day, Parannoul, Home Is Where, and others in what's now seen as kind of a renaissance period for their genre. And if we're taking any notes from the first 2 Plastic Death singles, then I think they're going to keep slamming the pedal down towards genre-blending madness. At number 10 is Lana by SZA, which will function as the deluxe album for 2023's SOS. SZA is said to have recorded about 100 songs in the 4 to 5 years leading up to SOS, and 23 of those were what made the final track list. Except SZA isn't really the person that makes the final curating decisions on what songs make the cut and where they actually go in the track list. In this collection of songs, some of them may be songs that SZA envisioned being in the final album in the first place. Maybe it'll be entirely made up of those type of tracks, or maybe it's furnished out with other odds and ends. And who knows, it might be another 5 to 6 years before we hear her again, so let's soak this one up and really enjoy it. At number 9 is Baby Keem's Child with Wolves. Two-phone Baby Keem has entered 24, dropping some breadcrumbs in his wake. The 23-year-old already has a couple very dynamic records under his belt, and truthfully, I've just been waiting for him to put it all together. Now, in recent weeks, Keem has been pretty active. He dropped a drum and bass song with Fred again, which only puts him 1 degree away from Brian Eno. He also starred in a short film for his 2021 album, The Melodic Blue, which you can watch on Prime Video. He is opposite of Amandla Sternberg in this film, and now he is teasing this new album, Child with Wolves. And so far, we've received minimal details, so we'll have to wait and hear more info from here, but I think the chances of it dropping in this year are pretty good. At number 8 is a potential release from the UK producer Burial. Now this one comes with a pretty heavy disclaimer because we have no official word on Burial releasing what would be a very long-awaited album at 16 years and counting. What we do know for certain, however, is that he's recently signed on to XL Recordings, and for someone who has released independently throughout his career, it kind of makes you raise an eyebrow to see he's signed in what I presume is a record deal. And it could be more EPs and 2-packs of good music, as he's been doing over the past decade and a half, but it could be an album, and that would be pretty damn major for 2024. At number 7 is Courting's new last name. Courting is an indie and post-rock band hailing from Liverpool. Peter, one of our writers here, praised their 2022 debut guitar music as one of the year's best. In his review, he cited the unpredictable nature as one of its most likable aspects, and with that in mind, we'd imagine they'll continue to write and perform aggressively as they reimagine their formula for a second album. Thankfully, we won't have to wait long to see what we're getting in this one. It is slated for an end of January release date. At number 6 is Nicholas Craven and Boldy James' Penalty of Leadership. Now, if you've known me for a while, you'd know I'm big on Boldy James, a Detroiter who for a while has been one of the sharpest and most consistent underground rappers. Any of his several projects with The Alchemist are a great showcase of his skills, and The Manger on McNichols is a decade-old, sprawling jazz rap record with so many tricks up its sleeve. He's partnered with a bunch of producers to this point, including some great ones, but nothing outside of those Alchemist collabs have introduced the kind of chemistry he shares with Nicholas Craven. Craven's a beatmaker hailing from Montreal who specializes in the so-called drumless, sample-based hip-hop scene that has united him alongside acts like Billy Woods, Mock Hami, The God Fahim and Your Old Droog, and Griselda. Boldy and Nick's first collaborative album, Fair Exchange No Robbery, was excellent, and it did well with fans, but their return may be an even greater triumph. In January of 2023, nearly a year to the day of this new album coming out, Boldy was injured in a very significant and life-threatening car crash. Since that day, Boldy's been hospitalized and in rehab relearning to walk. And miraculously, Boldy has reported now having made nearly a full recovery that doctors have said is way far ahead of schedule. As a huge fan of Boldy, I am incredibly thankful to see him alive and well. This follow-up was already highly anticipated and slated to be awesome, and it's a project that could be truly special for so many reasons. At number 5 is the 2024 Playboi Carti album. You know we had to talk about him. Whole Lotta Red dropped on Christmas Day 2020, so it's been like a whole ass 3 years, which to be honest is fine. Carti, take your time. But just 3 months after releasing that album, he was back tweeting, "We not done." And he absolutely was done and just didn't know it yet. Since that time, this thing has had already a few working titles, initially Narcissist, which fans remember he posted in a caption with a date, and that date came and went and nothing happened. Then on Christmas Day 2022, Carti tweeted this: "I love all my supporters, it's time." And yet again, it wasn't time. But now, we're starting to get the goods with singles and snippets flooding out all of a sudden. More recently, we've seen the titles Music and I Am Music. And to be honest, I usually respect Carti's willingness to go for risky soundscapes and transform himself from behind the microphone. It's paid off more for some projects and songs and less for others, and we'll see where this one lands, maybe soon. At number 4 is MGMT's Loss of Life. We are officially set to receive the first MGMT album in over 6 years since 2018's The Little Dark Age. To this day, that album for me is still super enjoyable, and fans of MGMT, I think, are hoping for another adventurous and enigmatic entry into what is now a pretty prolific discography. And similarly to Little Dark Age, we're looking at a 10-track project with Wasserman and Van Weingarten working alongside Patrick Wimberly, formerly of the group Chairlift with Caroline Polachek. In addition, Danger Mouse and 106 Point Never are both said to have credits on this release. We'll also be seeing the first guest feature on an MGMT album with Christine and the Queens, who sound like a band but is just one person. So far we have 2 singles out since October and November 2023, Boogie. The Bubblegum Dog music video racked up a pretty quick million hits on YouTube, though I do believe the lead single, Mother Nature, is the more attention-stealing showstopper. Loss of Life is scheduled for a February 23rd release. At number 3 is a potential new album by Standing on the Corner titled Sucker Chump. From what is foretold, Standing on the Corner is gearing up to release a 2024 album, and since this experimental hip-hop fusion outfit put up an absolute banger with Redburns in 2017, recently they've been doing art ensembles with an expanded team, and they've also notched a handful of production credits over the years, and of late have really stuck around as one of the more influential forces in the underground music scene. So while we have a little bit of insight on what to expect based on work that's come out under this name, we're certainly not making any firm predictions, as these guys are a new group entering a new era that's pretty distant from the last. So it could be anything, but we think it'll be pretty damn good when and if it drops this year. At number 2 is JPEG Mafia's 2024 album, and let's be real, of late, Peggy's never really been too far away from releasing another project, be it a solo album, an EP, or a collaborative piece like the one he did last year with Danny Brown. To me, that was one of the strongest albums of the year, and to close the year, he re-released the Ghost Pop tape, which is a fan favorite from his days under a different alias all the way back in 2013. And looking back, it seems he's just gotten better with time. With each passing release, he's become a stronger, more versatile artist. As a producer, he's aggressive, intricate, and innovative. And to me, the music that he plays is his true gift, but he's also a very, very solid rapper, versatile and distinct in that realm as well. Now, last we've heard in a pretty recent update from Peggy, he was very close to having already released this album on January 1st and is working on it to release it likely sooner rather than later. And finally, at number 1 is a potential 2024 album by Kamasi Washington. The new oncoming Kamasi Washington album has potential to be one of the year's best in any genre, and I certainly hope that that's the case, because jazz just doesn't really get the love that it deserves. In recent years, Kamasi's been doing more of the dinner party stuff, where he's teamed up with Robert Glasper, Terrace Martin, and Ninth Wonder. And those projects have really been sort of neat and novel with an innovative spin on hip-hop jazz fusion. It's been about 6 years since the last Kamasi solo album, 2018's Heaven and Earth, which received widespread critical acclaim much like 2015's The Epic did, though it could be argued that The Epic has been a little more widely regarded as his masterwork to this point. In a 2023 interview, Kamasi has hinted at this next album being a very rhythmic piece with a more concise runtime than is customary for his studio albums. The Epic, aptly titled for its nearly 3-hour runtime, is just a half an hour longer than Heaven and Earth, which clocks in at a whopping 2.5. That being said, it's possible this next album is a relatively breezy experience, coming in at like an hour and a half. If Kamasi plays his cards right with this project, it could be a concise and exciting experience that may be more easily enjoyable and listenable to somebody who isn't that into jazz or isn't that into him yet. But given his pedigree to this point, he most certainly contends to be an Album of the Year candidate if he turns in yet another inspiring effort. And that's all we have for today. Thank you for completing this video, and if you want to help us at all, one small thing you can do that really helps, click the like button. I know we didn't get nearly close to everything that could be coming out this year, so if you have information that we don't, feel free to drop it down in the comments section so we know and everybody watching this video knows. We'll be back here very soon with another video, so be sure to tap in with that. And thanks again for watching this video, and we'll see you again here very soon. Peace out.